7 wide receivers that I think will easily outperform where they're currently being drafted, guys. These are value picks. These are the players that I think are way too cheap. Every season, there's like 10 players throughout the draft that we look back and we're like, damn, how did we miss this? Think about CMC, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne. These are all guys we should have seen it coming. And I just want to say one of the guys on this list is probably the most mispriced player in all of fantasy football. Let's go. We're going to start with some of the early rounds with some guys, and then we're going to make our way down to the end of the draft, late round picks. Hopefully it can help some of you guys that are in your deeper leagues. And the first player is going to be Nico Collins. Look, man, even though he's got a QB who walks like his mom just dropped him off at his friend's house, he's about to go play some Smash Bros. He's a fantastic talent, man. And CJ Stroud can, I think, do just enough to make this dude a top 5 wide receiver. Obviously, we get the news that Jayden Higgins, his running mate, out with an ACL. So that just kind of opens the door, guys. There's so much ambiguity on who's going to be like the wide receiver 2 here. Is it going to be Tank Dell? Is it going to be Xavier Hutchinson? Is it going to be Jalen Noel potentially? But nevertheless, it's going to be Nico, guys. He is the big play man. He's the unquestioned wide receiver 1, elite efficiency, heavy target share, and a big red zone usage. Now just looking at kind of where people are ranking him, Vegas has him at wide receiver 12. It should be higher now. I need to update this. I think he's probably honestly like the safest second round wide receiver if you want to take a wide receiver in the second round. Neighbors, obviously the injury risk. AJ Brown, probably going to be good, but you just don't know. It could just not work out with Drake May. Drake London's QB situation sucks. The team's going to stink. And looking at last season, we see that Nico Collins hit a lot of metrics that we like to see. We have this league winner tracker here where we want to see if a dude hits 16 points per game in PPR, 2.2 or higher yards per out run, and then 10 targets. That's like a league winner. He obviously just hits short of the 10 targets, but everywhere else, he's like right there, bro. He's on the cusp of being like a league winning wide receiver. I think the reason that I'm super high on Nico Collins is the fact that he really had like a touchdown regression last season. I'll show you guys this tweet here, guys. This is Warren Sharp. Last year, 5th most end zone targets, he had 14 of them, 10th most red zone targets with 18, and only 6 touchdowns. But he had 120 total targets. So the dude had the targets. He just couldn't score touchdowns, bro. I watched some of the tape, bro. There were some close ones. There were some where he was just blanket covered. But the fact that he's getting the targets, the opportunity is there. The expected points are there. He's just not capitalizing. And just to further drive home the point that he is the big play guy on this team, guys, he was second in the NFL in 40 plus yard receptions. JSN running away with 8. Look, bro, he's up there with Alec Pierce, Jameson Williams. I wouldn't have expected that, to be honest. Like, I always kind of thought Nico Collins was more of like a intermediate, kind of closer to the line of scrimmage, but he is the big play guy. He's one of my favorite alpha wide receiver. He's one of my favorite alpha wide receivers because of that. He's going to get big plays. He's going to get red zone targets. So I don't know, man. I just think it's very possible that if we're drafting this guy at the end of the second round, I think it's almost impossible that he doesn't outperform that and he ends up being like a top 12 player. Next up, we got Jameson Williams. Look, man, he's a victim of his reputation, and it's a wrong reputation. It's a false reputation, man. Everyone and their mom says that this dude is a boomer bust player, and I thought so too. I think that at the beginning of his career, he really was a boom bust player, but just looking at 2025, we see weeks 1 to 7 were dog shit, dude. The play calling was absolutely horrible. Dan Campbell takes over play calling at the bye week, and after the bye week, Jameson Williams essentially has only like 2 bad games, right? Like, it was not boom or bust. It was mostly boom. Like, right away, dude, instantly 16, 23, 19, then a dud. So he can still bust. It's definitely possible. It's just kind of the nature of the position that he plays, right? He's the deep threat. He's like the guy that makes the big plays. And because of that, he's not going to get all the easy stuff all the time. And sometimes he'll give you a goose egg, bro. That's just how it is with a player like this. I think it happens way less often than people really think, man. Now, I have him at wide receiver 21, ahead of Vegas, ahead of Mike Clay. I think he's one of the most valuable, like undervalued wide receivers in that like 4th, 5th round range where you're looking for your like second wide receiver or sometimes even your third wide receiver. When I see Jameson Williams, bro, I want the pop-off games. I want the boom games, right? If that means you're going to deal with a couple of like sub 5-point games, I'll fucking take it, bro. Now, I do want to say, man, we're expecting Sam Laporta to kind of take a next step. In the system that Sam Laporta is going to be in, it really helps tight ends. It's a very tight end centric system. So that's, I think, why he's a 4th, 5th rounder. I think I'm willing to kind of live with that risk. It says here, 17% target share when Sam Laporta was back. Not ideal, guys, but again, at the end of the day, man, you win in fantasy football when the players you have can have these explosion games. And hopefully it happens more often than not. This is just the passer rating when being targeted. Jameson Williams is number 2 in the NFL, bro, ahead of JSN. Just real quick interruption, guys. I have a draft guide. It's $5. You've got rankings, league winners, fades, sleepers, players to avoid, handcuff rankings, playoff schedule intel, everything that you need for your drafts, guys. It's super cheap. I think it can be a huge difference in helping you guys win in your drafts. Where were we? Chris Godwin, the next player up. Look, why am I recommending a man who is both old and coming off injury. I just got to remind you guys what happened in 2024, man. We start the season, the first 7 weeks of the season, he's wide receiver 2 overall, guys, in fantasy football. Then he suffers a particularly bad case of being cut in half.
This was a particularly bad case of somebody being cut in half. I was not able to reattach the top half of his body to the bottom half of his body.
Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists.
And after that, bro, he was being faded. 2025, he was being faded. He was essentially injured the whole season. He played week 4 and 5, but he was still hobbled. By the time he came back and he was back to like full health, week 13 or so, he was actually like sneakily kind of usable, bro. Like 10 fantasy points every game. Ends the fantasy season in week 17 with a big 23-point performance, guys. So like the last memory that I have of Chris Godwin from last season was that he was actually kind of serviceable. He was actually kind of like their number 1 player. Like Big Boo was essentially unusable last year at the end of the year. Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin were the guys that were kind of being the productive ones on the team. So my take on Chris Godwin is that he will definitely just be a volume-based like wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and definitely the number 2 guy behind Egbuka. But look, man, I have him at wide receiver 34, bro, like well ahead of Vegas and Mike Clay. It's a good offense. He's a veteran. He's very talented. He plays in the slot where he can get like easy dink and dunks. He can get open pretty easily in the slot as like a close to the line of scrimmage player. Good quarterback check, good offense check. Opportunity kind of check. I think he's going to be like the number 2 target earner. People are expecting it to be Cade Otton. I just don't see it, bro. Cade Otton's now been on this team for like 26 years and he's really just mid, right? He's like a tight end 15 every single season. So I'd be drafting Chris Godwin if I need like a 4th wide receiver. I'm in like the 9th, 10th round. I think Chris Godwin's one of the more value picks, man. I think the last like good tape that he's shown us when he was like healthy, he was really good. And he's not really that old, bro. He's only like 30 or 31 years old. Let's say you drafted Jameson Williams early in the draft. I think Chris Godwin's like one of the better picks late in the draft. It just gives you a little bit of balance. Next up, we got Casey Concepcion, wide receiver 45 for me. He's wide receiver 54 and wide receiver 50 for Mike Clay. Elite college production, guys. Explosive yards after the catch. One of my favorite rookies in this class, bro. Every single video that I see or highlight from camp, he's like busting the fuck out of someone. And I do think the Browns are like kind of desperate for like a playmaker, someone who can be like an explosive player for them. Jerry Jeudy's absolute butt cheeks. Every single report that I've been seeing about Jerry Jeudy is that he looks like shit. So I think there is definitely a universe where Concepcion might just be the best player on this team, man. Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, clearly the Browns' most gifted wide receivers, according to Akron Jackson. That's a dope-ass name. Casey Concepcion basically told us he's a significantly more valuable role for fantasy. There's a quote when Casey Concepcion was being interviewed. He said, "Me and Denzel, we complement each other so well. Him being 6'4", the bigger guy, me being 5'11". I can do the underneath things, all of the intermediary things. So the short stuff, close to the line of scrimmage, and the intermediate stuff, like the middle of the field, that's where there's big time fantasy points. We're just going to watch a couple highlights, guys. This was a punt return just to show. I mean, this is kind of what his specialty was in college. Gets to the edge. He's free. I don't know who tackles him. He falls somehow. There's another one, Deshaun Watson. Let's see if he can actually make a good throw. Nice. Decent little, what was that, a back shoulder? I don't even know. And then the next one, this is a nice little end around, breaks the tackle, stays up, gets into the end zone, guys, for a touchdown. This was the first week of preseason. So look, man, anytime you're going to score a touchdown in preseason and look good, like it was actually like a nice play that he scored on, I think your value is just going to go up and up. And it has been, right? Like he's been slowly rising, like further up. Still ADP's behind. ADP has him at 129. I got him at 105. NFC ADP, which is like the experts, they have him at 105 as well. So again, he's one of my favorite late round wide receivers. If I can get him, and I'm desperate for a wide receiver, I'm looking for somebody that I can potentially put in my lineup. You're looking for like a, your second flex play. I think Concepcion's probably one of my favorite picks in that range. And this is the player that is the most mispriced wide receiver in all of fantasy, in my opinion. It's Jayden or you guys. Wide receiver 35 for me. Vegas has him at wide receiver 41, Mike Clay, wide receiver 45. This is a hyper talented player, guys. Just a few seasons ago, like literally 2 years ago, he was being compared to Deebo Samuel. I know that's not like the nicest comparison, but in terms of the role he was going to play, he kind of was like a Deebo light where he was being used on like end arounds, kind of as like a pseudo running back. And I just want to show you guys, man, this is slot yards per route run. He is third in the NFL in yards per route run against slot. Now, just for some context, man, most of the NFL plays mostly zone defense, and players that are good in the the slot typically can be pretty effective against zone defense. You see Chris Godwin on here, you see Puka, Rashi Rice. Those are like the zone beaters. Now, after last season, I had this rule where I'm like, bro, I'm not going to draft any players who only play slot receiver, and that's Jayden Reed. He's only going to be on the field in 3 wide receiver sets, essentially. And, last year, he was pretty much catch it. You couldn't use him, any game. He had 3 targets a game, 1.85 yards per out run. That kind of shows you that when he's out there, he actually does get some targets, but he got injured after week 1. I think he broke his collarbone. He catches a touchdown, literally gets injured on the play. And he was pretty much cat shit the rest of the season, doesn't do anything. Returns in week 14, probably not 100%. And he's just unusable, right? Like less than 10 fantasy points every single week. But now going into this season, Romeo Doubs is gone. Dontavion Wicks, Stonehands Wicks, he is gone. So now it's just Matthew Golden, not a big target earner. Christian Watson, also not a huge target earner. I don't think he's ever had a game over like 10 targets, if I'm not mistaken. We got 2 like big play, speedy wide receivers, and then we got Jayden Reed, kind of the underneath guy. He's like the dude who's going to dink and dunk them up the field, and Golden and Christian Watson are the big play guys. So that's how I think that this offense is going to materialize, where Jayden Reed's going to get a lot of the easy stuff, and Golden and Watson are going to be operating on the outside. And because of that, on an offense like this, where Golden has not proven jack fuck all, I think there's some opportunity here for Jayden Reed to potentially be like one of the most important wide receivers in all of fantasy, bro. Whoever drafts this man on their team this late in drafts, you get a free starter essentially at the end of drafts. I truly do believe that. I was pissed off when my league mate grabbed him in the 6th round in my home league, guys. I was like thinking he was going to fall to me. I would have taken him in the 6th round as well, bro, but he's going in like the 10th round in most leagues. The experts at NFC also agree. They got him at 92. I got him at 83. So you guys got to just trust me, man. Draft Jayden Reed, because I think he's going to be just a very good flex play all season. Next up, we got the Caramel Mamba, Jacoby Lane, wide receiver 54 for me, wide receiver 70 plus for everyone else. So I am unrealistically high on this man. So look, he has a bustable profile. He's 6'4". His comp on Player Profiler is Terrace Marshall Jr., notoriously a dude who was amazing in college, ends up being a fart in the NFL. So he's not very agile. And he wasn't really a big dominator in college. He had a lot of touchdowns his junior season. He had like 12 for USC. Senior year, I don't know what happened. He only had like 5 touchdowns. And he's going to be behind Flowers. That's kind of expected. Bateman recently got arrested. It looks like no charges are going to be filed this season. So there was a small moment, dude, when Bateman got arrested and there was like charges filed against him, when I thought like, holy shit, Jacoby Lane might be a wide receiver 2. Like he might be a legit bona fide full starter for the Ravens. It looks like Bateman's going to play. They still got Henry. They still got Lamar. Honestly, man, genuinely, I really think Jacoby Lane is kind of going to be like Isaac Tesla. He's not going to get enough targets or enough playing time to really be like someone you can start every week. But he could be this like player where you're desperate to start someone and you see this man on the waivers and it's maybe a game that the Ravens are an underdog for once in the season. I might throw Jacoby Lane in there, bro, with the chance that he could catch a random like big athletic touchdown, and then that's all he does. He has been looking real good in camp, bro. This is one from Lamar up to Lane. He skies up for it, bro. Shows the length. He's just a very like lengthy wide receiver who can like make contested catches really well. This is another one just over the shoulder into the breadbasket. Nice, bro. I mean, he's burning people. And at the end of the day, man, some of the beat reporters for the Ravens are saying that he looks like one of the better rookie wide receivers that they've seen, that they haven't seen another rookie that looks quite as good as this man. So I'm excited about him. Maybe for the future, maybe if you're in a dynasty league or a keeper league, he's somebody that I really like taking late. I mean, to be frank, he's so cheap. I mean, 189 ADP, 132, in my rankings, wide receiver 54. He's still outside of the top 50 wide receivers, but somebody who I do think has a lot of upside. In the event something were to happen to anyone on the team, if anybody gets injured, I think this man's going to be very, very, very usable. Next up, we got Adonai Mitchell. If you're in a league where you get points for fumbles, Adonai Mitchell should be the 101. Wide receiver 78 for me. Wide receiver 66, wide receiver 61 for Clay. So I actually need to rise this man up my ADP, to be honest. I'm the one that's wrong on him. But industry ADP has him at, 227 overall. So 177 on NFC. So pretty much across the board, the experts, Vegas or my Clay, we all kind of like him. I just put myself in the expert category. That's fucking bullshit. We all kind of see Adonai Mitchell a little bit more valuable than he is. Look, man, it's going to be Garrett Wilson. It's going to be Breece Hall. And there might not be anything left in this offense for anyone else to actually produce. But Adonai Mitchell is the wide receiver 2 for this team. He has solidified it. Everybody's been talking about him as the wide receiver 2. Frank Wright said, I just want to be in the room he's in because he's going to light up the room between him and Garrett. That combo has been really good. AD has shown himself well through this whole program in the offseason. Our confidence in him is really high right now. This is Kev Massarigian. He said AD Mitchell is weird because his peripheral target stats are incredible. He's just not very good. It's true. His targets per out run, 25% plus both seasons. I legitimately do not understand why this dude is so bad. Geno Smith on Adonai Mitchell, I think he's going to be a special player for a long time. The Jets are hoping to make wide receiver Adonai Mitchell a crucial piece of their offense this season. This is back in June, so things can change in training camp, but I've only heard good things through training camp. And separation rates from last season are insane, bro. He's 16%. He separates at a higher rate than Puka Nacua and Jamar Chase. Absolutely insane. He's one of the better, like just off of like getting open and being fast. Adonai Mitchell is like second to none. I'm honestly being serious, man. He's one of the better wide receivers in terms of getting open and just burning cornerbacks. Like if you go back to his Colts days and watch some of the highlights of Adonai Mitchell when he was on the Colts, the man was always open. He was burning the fuck out of every corner, every safety, and then Anthony Richardson will like throw the ball into the fucking stands, bro, or like into the sideline. So like they just couldn't connect. Geno Smith has a pretty decent deep ball. Maybe Geno Smith and Adonai could be a decent little connection. So again, man, if you're in a league where you get bonus points for players making dumb plays, fumbling before the end zone, dropping passes, Adonai Mitchell is a very valuable pick. You guys should definitely draft him. That does it for the video, boys. 7 wide receivers I think will outperform their ADP. You got some guys early, some guys middle, some guys late. I have a cheat sheet linked down below. It's fully for free on the Patreon. I also have a draft guide. It's $5 a month or €5 a month, so it's probably like $6 for you guys. It's got my targets, fades, rankings, historical hit rates, handcuff report, offensive line report, literally everything in one PDF download. You guys can sign up on the page, download it, and then you can unsubscribe if you want. Obviously, I hope you don't do that. But that doesn't matter. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.